Learning to use the Dyson has been such a time-consuming process, but now I've actually found two different kinds of routines I can use in the morning that only take 10 to 15 minutes. One is with this attachment that gives me volume and straight hair throughout the day, and the other one is with these two that'll give me beautiful bombshell wave. Let me show you how. Prepping your hair properly is so important to get your Dyson Airwrap curls to last all throughout the day. I personally prefer to start off with freshly washed hair because my Dyson hairstyle lasts me in between my washes. To develop a routine that works for you, take the time to really understand what your hair is lacking. Because of how long my hair is, I tend to use volumizing and hydrating product to make sure I get enough lift to my roots and also to make sure I have a smooth, clean finish to my hairstyle. After I wash my hair, I put on my skincare routine and my makeup, and by that time, my hair is mostly dry, and I let all that dampness soak into this cotton robe. Having something to condition and heat protect your hair is very important because you want your hairstyle to look healthy and hydrated. Even though the Dyson Airwrap doesn't go as high heat as other curling irons, it still does get pretty hot. I have two different types that I recommend. This one I've been using for a very long time. You can see I'm almost done with it. This is a hydrating heat protectant with coconut oil, so it makes your hair smell amazing, and you can immediately feel that hydration. This one's especially good for very dry hair, and I tend to use it a lot when I've been out all day, especially in the Florida sun. The other two that I've been testing recently and I absolutely love are these Lola V products. One is a cream and one is a spray. I prefer using both of these products together because I find it gives me maximum coverage. You definitely don't need to buy both. Buy whichever one is more suitable to your hair routine. My hair tends to lie flat and straight, and I want to get a lot more volume into it, so I've been testing a lot of different volumizing mousses, and this one has been the best on my hair. One of the problems with mousse is that it tends to feel crunchy, so you can actually feel that product in your hair. But for this one, the most important thing is to put it through your hair as soon as you've washed it. That way the mousse can glide along the strands and evenly distribute throughout the scalp and your hair, so you're not left with chunks of product buildup that feel really crunchy when you touch it. Now the secret is you don't dry your hair too much. By the time I'm finished applying products, all I need to do is do a little bit of a pre-drying to make sure that the ends are not too damp. You should not be able to squeeze any water out of your hair, but it should still feel relatively wet to the touch. The amount of dryness you're trying to achieve is that the strands should start to separate and no longer be clumped together like when it's very wet. In order to get that smooth finished feel, you want to brush out your hair properly first when it's wet. And I'm using this travel-based tangle teaser that works great for wet hair and has a mirror on the back in case I'm not carrying one around. Because your hair is so prone to breakage when it's wet, it's really important to start bottom up when you brush your hair. And I always grab my hair like this so that when I'm brushing through all the tangles, it's not pulling through the roots of my hair, so I'm not losing too much. It's really hard for my hair to hold any curls at all. And part of that is because it's difficult for my hair to absorb products or dry easily. So for me, the extra hassle of keeping my curls in by using the Dyson tool is worth my time. When it comes to styling my hair, I'm going to split it straight down the middle and leave it in two parts. I'm not going to section it any further, except I'm going to leave my very front strands to do later. You always want to curl your hair outwards from your face. I start with the highest heat setting. There's two types of hairspray I use. One is the Kenra Volume Spray. It has a 48-hour hold. It has an extremely long hold, which I've tested, and it's really good if you want your hairstyle to stay in between days. It's also a flexible hold so that you don't feel sticky or crunchy, and you can easily brush through your curls afterward, and you can layer this spray for a stronger hold. But if you're looking for an aerosol alternative, so especially if you do your hair every day and you want your hair to stay, I highly suggest using a hairspray like this one that's natural. If I really want my curls to last throughout the day, before I use the curling iron, I would typically spray the section with hairspray first. This is a big one. Even though Dyson recommends that you use the bigger barrel when getting blowout-like curls, I've tested it with both, and I found if you use the smaller barrel, it actually keeps your blowout in for longer. Because your curls are tighter, it'll take them longer to actually fall out. Before I use the curling attachment, I will always do one more brush to my hair to make sure it goes through the curler as smooth as possible. And it's really important to be gentle through your hair, especially when you find little knots. There are a lot of small tricks to making your curls last even longer. Before I start curling each section, I spray it with some hairspray, then brush it out before using the curling attachment. I feed the ends of my hair through the curling attachment and let it naturally curl by pulling up the Dyson until the very end where I have to manually curl it up. Because I take larger sections of hair and because my hair is so long, I first blast it on high heat for about 20 seconds seconds, then on medium heat for another 30 seconds, then cold blast it for about 20 to 30 seconds. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is letting your curls out before it fully dries. Then it won't hold its shape for long at all. So make sure you don't find any cool spots on your hair before letting it out. And when you do let your curls out, pull the curl out from the top so that you keep your curl intact. And this will definitely help preserve your curls for longer. And at the end, spray a generous amount of hairspray on all the curls before brushing through them. I prep my hair the same way to straighten my hair as to curl my hair, using a heat protectant first, then a volumizing hair mousse. But I find for straight hair, I don't need to add any hairspray. And blow dry until 80% dry first. I first start off with a round brush to give me a lot more volume throughout the roots of my hair and finish drying them before I move on to the ends. Similar to when I curl, I start with the highest heat setting and work my way down until the scalp part of my hair is fully dry. Then I'll move on to the paddle brush. There are two different ones. I picked the black firm-headed brush because it works better for my thick hair, and I run the brush through either side of my hair while my head is completely flipped over because I find this gives the most amount of volume. Once completely dry, flip your hair back and voila, you have both volume and straight hair. Because of my finance background, I'm normally very meticulous when it comes to buying worthwhile purchases. So if you're not too sure if the Dyson Airwrap is for you, I made this next video just for you to help you out and make the best decision for yourself.